Welcome back to Tales from the 305, where we bring you the peculiar, provocative, and just plain weird stories in the history of Miami. I'm your host, Jay Marcus, and today we're pulling into Sweetwater, a tiny city of about 19,000 residents nestled in what used to be swampland bordering the Tamiami Trail Canal. Because of its large Nicaraguan community, Sweetwater has been dubbed Little Managua, and it is known for its motto, family, God, and education. Although Dwarves, Drunks, and Crooked Cops describes its history much better. Today, most people think of Sweetwater, if they think of it at all, as a working-class Cuban and Nicaraguan enclave where fritangas dominate dismal strip shopping centers. But there is so much more to Sweetwater, a lot more, and not in a good way. Our story begins with the roaring 1920s land boom, when the Miami-Pittsburgh Land Company platted out Sweetwater groves, carving up swampy flats into, quote, prime real estate. But the 1926 hurricane and market collapse left those parcels soggy and half-forgotten, perfect for anyone with a dream and a shoestring budget. Enter a group of miniature migrants from Eastern Europe, the Royal Russian Midgets. Long before they built tiny cottages in Sweetwater, this circus troupe began in 1907 as the Petrograd Star Company, a band of small-statured performers touring Imperial Russia, Siberia, Manchuria, India, Japan, and beyond. After the 1917 revolution, they rebranded as the Royal Russian Midgets. They wintered in Shanghai and by 1931 had made San Francisco their new port of call, becoming U.S. citizens in 1933. Their big break in Florida came at the 1935 Miami Winter Carnival, where developer Clyde Andrews spotted their act. Struck by their charm and the novelty of their tiny village dreams, he offered them cheap Sweetwater Grove lots, and they bit. By 1938, plans were set for a miniature community outside Miami. Under troupe member Anna Parfanova and manager Joe Sanderlin, they built 9 miniature cottages, each with front doors under 5 feet tall, scaled-down cabinets, and beds fit for someone barely 4 feet high. Locals swore the block looked like a living dollhouse, complete with its own pint-sized post office. On October 10, 1941, 12 of these small-statured residents and 13 big folk neighbors voted to incorporate as the city of Sweetwater. Joe Sanderlin became the first mayor and Anna Parfanova its inaugural first lady. Officially, they kept family, God, and education as the city's motto, but unofficial signs proclaimed tiny houses, big dreams. After troop leader Michael Sokolsky's death in 1946, the colony's numbers dwindled. Members drifted away, and by the late 1970s, the last original duo, Basil and Mary Fillan, had passed on. Their tiny homes were demolished, leaving only a Cyrillic plaque at St. Vladimir's Church as a silent tribute to their legacy. No small town is without its oddball moments, and Sweetwater is no exception. In the 1970s, Sweetwater had earned a reputation as an out-of-the-way outpost for boozing, brawling, and illegal gambling. The Bilmar Lounge's neon scorpion sign lit a back road, but inside it was pure mayhem. In 1975, state troopers raided Bilmar, seizing 3 illegal slot machines and over $4,200 in cash. Locals still whisper about the bullet that shattered the mirror behind the bar during a poker dispute. Hotspots, like the Rusty Anchor and the Deep End, were straight out of a noir movie. In 1978, a poker game at the Rusty Anchor erupted into a shootout, leaving 2 dead and 3 wounded. The DEA later uncovered $15,000 in illicit chips under the floorboards. Years later, the Deep End went up in flames when a hidden rum-running still ignited, injuring 6 patrons. But illegal booze, gambling, and shootouts were not the only sinister things going on in Sweetwater. In the 1990s, a small city built by little people became synonymous with police corruption and much worse. In 1993, Police Chief Ramon Diaz was exposed for taking monthly kickbacks from nightclub owners. The Miami New Times unearthed his ledger of hush money payments, leading to his arrest in Sweetwater's first ever ethics overhaul. Even more disturbing was the case of Detective Martin Rodriguez, aka the Sweetwater Butcher. Martinez executed 9 alleged drug dealers between 1990 and 1994 and dumped them in the Tamiami Canal. His downfall came when a fisherman's net snagged the body. Rodriguez was convicted on 9 counts of murder and executed in 2015. Even the wildlife in Sweetwater was associated with weirdness. In March 1996, 2 Sweetwater property owners found a grisly scene. 69 animals, goats, chickens, geese, and ducks, were found dead, reportedly with small puncture wounds and completely drained of blood. Local law enforcement and a Miami-Dade zoologist attributed the carnage to a large dog. But the story took on a life of its own when residents whispered it was the work of the Chupacabra, the legendary goat sucker of Caribbean lore. Rumors of midnight stakeouts, makeshift patrols along the canal, and torch-wielding neighbors hunting the cryptic creature sparked pandemonium, with late-night news crews turning Sweetwater into ground zero for one of America's most infamous cryptid scares. And in 2005, there was the case of Gertie, a 6-foot gator who liked to catch some rays on suburban lawns, much to the distress of homeowners. Some residents formed the Gator Watch militia, armed with binoculars and shotguns, while animal rights activists held candlelight vigils for Gertie the gator. The two sides nearly came to blows over Gertie. Wildlife officers finally airlifted the gator back to the Everglades without any further incidents. And that concludes our journey through Sweetwater's wild and weird legacy. From Russian dwarves with big dreams to shady cops and chupacabras, this tiny town on the fringes of the Everglades holds a special place in Miami's history. So next time you're cruising past Dolphin Mall or heading to classes at FIU, swing by Sweetwater. You might just feel the echo of tiny footsteps and big dreams beneath the palm fronds. Just keep an eye out for chupacabras. I'm Jay Marquez, and this is Tales from the 305. Thanks for listening.